This is why I think all Christians should wake up early. And hear me out, because I think a lot of people have associated the concept of waking up early with like the cringe, like hustle culture, Sigma male stuff. But bro, I've done my research, and I can confidently say that based on my research and based on my personal experience, there are real like spiritual benefits to waking up early. So I'm gonna tell you about those, and also I'm gonna put you onto my method for how I've been able to wake up early. Like I don't say this to brag, but I've been like really consistent with waking up early for the last 3 weeks. So I'm gonna tell you how I did that. But yeah, why should Christians wake up early? Well, the mornings give you a unique time of silence. You know, no one else is awake. There are no distractions. There are no responsibilities that you have, and you have this time where you can basically do whatever you want, right? Well, why is that important? Why is it important for us to have silence? Well, how can you expect to have a relationship with God if you never give yourself the opportunity to speak to him and to listen to what he has to say to you? And it goes with like any type of relationship. How can you expect to have a relationship if you never have time by yourself with the other person? It's the same thing goes for your relationship with God. You got to give yourself the opportunity to be silent, be alone with God, and listen to what he has to say. And the morning is like the best time to do that, because you know there's no distractions and nobody else is around. There's a story in the Bible about a guy called Elijah who basically God told him to go up onto this mountain, and there's like an earthquake, there's like a fire, there's a wind, and then after all those things had happened, God spoke to Elijah, and it says that God's voice was like a quiet whisper, which I guess shows that sometimes we need to quiet ourselves. We need to remove all the other sounds so that we can focus on the quiet voice of God. Also, there are so many examples in the Bible of Jesus actually waking up early and separating himself from other people so that he could be alone with God. And you know, if Jesus is doing it, then that probably means that we should too. The second reason why you should wake up early is because it allows you to choose discipline over like laziness. Now, it sounds kind of corny, but like, what is the first decision that you make every single day? It is you deciding whether you should get out of bed and get on with your day, or whether you should stay comfortable and stay in your bed. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you start your day by making the more like disciplined decision to get out of bed and to get on with your day, then you're going to be so much more likely to choose the better things, the more, to have like more self-control, and to choose the more disciplined things throughout the entire day. That's just how it works. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Like, imagine the day that you decide to, you know, have 5 more minutes in bed, or you decide to, you know, push snooze on your alarm clock. How much more likely are you going to like give in to the temptation and the easier choices throughout the entire day? Waking up early gives you that opportunity to start the day right, and then you can just build momentum after that. If you want to have like a disciplined life in general, you got to allow yourself to like build momentum. And how can you build momentum if you're not making that first decision every day to get out of bed, to have self-control? So now, how can you actually like build the habit of waking up early, and how can you get out of bed consistently on time? Let me tell you my method, all right? Firstly, if you use your phone as an alarm clock, you need to stop doing that, bro. Like, charge your phone, preferably outside of your room, preferably like as far away from your room as possible. You don't want to like go anywhere near your phone when you wake up early. So if you invest in an alarm clock, if you don't have one, or just like an old watch, I just use like my old watch as an alarm when I wake up. Get that alarm and set it for like 30 minutes before whatever time you're waking up right now. Set it for, so if you wake up at like 6:30, if you wake up at like 7 right now, set it for like 6:30, and then put that alarm with it set earlier. Put it like on the other side of your room. Put it like as far away from your bed as possible, so that when it goes off in the morning, you're forced to get out of bed to turn it off. That's just like a little tip that you could do to make sure you get out of bed on time. Wait, the sun's getting in my eyes. Also, another tip that I would recommend is to have like a tracker of all the days that you've woken up early. Like I have this page in my journal where it's just like a bunch of ticks for all the times I've gotten out of bed on time. And I kind of just made it like my goal to like fill out the entire page just of like little ticks of all the days that I've woken up early. And I think if you're like quite a obsessive person like me, if you like commit yourself to this goal, it's kind of like it kind of makes it a lot less hard to stop it, you know, because you have that like self accountability. But I'd say like get outside or do some type of like movement. What I do is I just like get outside. I try to go for a walk like as soon as I wake up. I'd recommend, you know, maybe do some push-ups. I've heard of some people who like do push-ups to failure whenever they wake up, and I think there's some sort of like scientific thing where like if you like move around early in your morning and you can keep doing that like every day, it like trains your body to like wake up on time and like give you more energy in the mornings or something like that. I don't really know the science behind it, but that's the bro science version for you. Yeah, some other tips for how to make the most of your mornings. I'd say, like I said, don't charge your phone in your room. If you have like a laptop or anything, also don't charge that in your room, because you want to make sure that every morning you're getting into God's word before you get into the world. So, you know, read the Bible, have some prayer time, have some silence like I was talking about, and spend time with God before you pick up your phone. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say for this video. If you found it valuable, if you learned something new, you can subscribe so that you keep seeing my videos. But other than that, bro, God bless. Have a good day.